Hi guys, Happy New Year. 2025 is here and we are excited to be back in the saddle. We are back in the Guidebook Green Room. Nathan and I are joined today by our Director of Global Sales, Jack. Welcome. How was your holiday?
Yeah, great, thanks. Lots of family time. We finally got some good weather here in London. It was very grey, but yeah, a great time, great break, ready to start the new year.
Yeah, it's good to be back. 2025. Excited to see what we're going to do this year after a nice, somewhat restful holiday. It's never really fully restful when you're hopping around family time, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, that's the challenging part about the holidays that you have time off from work, but that means you're on for everything else. So hopefully you did get some time to reflect and set goals and think about what Guidebook is up to this year, what you're up to this year, and really what our communities care about, right? It's really important for all of us in our work to understand people's needs and context in order to be of service to them. And kind of that thesis is why I wanted to bring Jack in today, so you can share some of your expertise with us. Um, when you are connecting with event organizers about event technology, what are the common concerns you hear?
Yeah, sure. And we always appreciate the importance of highlighting and understandings of people's needs. That's something we always want to focus on here at Guidebook. Event organizers always wear many hats, and there are always a couple of questions that tend to arise for us. Number one, like where am I going to find the time to learn something new? And two, how will I know if it's going to be worth it?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think we should dig into that a little bit, especially finding time to learn something new. Event organizers, time is a super precious resource. They're jumping around from task to task, probably multiple events going on at the same time. How do you begin to kind of address that concern for event organizers, Jack?
Yeah, we always hear, time is incredibly valuable for event organizers. And I think that's a big part of where Guidebook came from, being designed with a focus on ease of use for both our users, but also the attendees, and making sure that when they start using the platform, they have a really fast learning curve. We want to maintain focus on saving time, creating efficiencies. For example, making the platform familiar to adopt. Many of the features are similar to what they probably are using now. I always say, like, if you've built a pretty good slide deck on PowerPoint, I'm confident you can build an app with Guidebook's Builder. Our builders can use pre-built templates for different event types. That significantly reduces development time. And everything can be completely customized, of course. We also want to provide a wealth of resources through our support website with tutorials, webinars, dedicated support team. We're here to help as event partners for our users.
I think there's really like two things in there. There's the time and then there's learning, right? Like learning is a specific type of task on your to-do list that like really uses your brain. And I was talking to our designer, Ryan, um, about like intuitive processes, right? And like user flows. And something that he's really proud of at Guidebook is we don't just try to educate people, but we want to like get you through the education phase and into the inspiration phase as quickly as possible, right? And I love the way he talks about that. Um, Digging into that kind of other point that you raised a little bit more, will it be worth it? Um, that's almost, it feels impossible to answer, right? You're like, just get in there and try it. And then like you'll have that aha moment. But how do you help event organizers realize the value of event technology?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I love the inspiration piece as well. Like some people come to us with like three features in mind, and we want to inspire them to use six, seven, eight features because
Mhm.
that's what's going to get them the real value and making it worth it. Now that always boils down to just making sure we understand specific event goals and making sure that we're always talking about what are you trying to achieve? You're not just trying to fill a hole with an app. You're trying to make sure that your event gets better because of the app or the software that you use. Um, Making sure we focus on increasing attendance, improving engagement, enhancing the attendee experience. Maybe even they want to just gather valuable data or streamline their logistics from the beginning or and throughout the event. Um, Now, when we have these worked out, then we can start thinking about the problem solution fit and why a mobile app's features can increase that event sort of efficiency. And then, there's lots of ways the guidebook can do that on a personalized front end, and making sure that it's the perfect tool for attendees. And then also making sure that post-event, we make sure we analyze the performance versus those goals that we've set and talked about and measure the success of both the event, but also the app itself.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess something that springs to mind as you kind of talk about measuring success there, and something I certainly speak to a lot of people about in sort of event organizers and mobile apps is around adoption and things like that. Like, do you get questions about app adoption? Are people considering that at the buying phase, or is that kind of after they've built it? Like, where does that conversation go?
Yeah, always. It's always, we talk about their goals, we talk about the features, and then we get the question like, is anyone going to download this? I've got this generation of people, or I've got this kind of cohort of users that are going to probably not download it, they're not going to use it. So we get that conversation, that question all the time. Um, we always want to talk about encouraging downloads, making sure the app has value, but once it's downloaded, also that it gets continual usage. I think that's the most important part. I'd rather see a lower adoption. Obviously, we want to see as much adoption as possible, but I'd rather see a lower adoption and then high engagement from the people that use it because that shows it really is valuable. And good promotion and good sort of strategy can make sure you get that download rate high. And then you've got to make sure that the app is engaging once it's downloaded and that users keep coming back.
That's a really good point of like which metrics to look at. I don't know, Nathan, if you want to dig more into that because you always talk about app metrics. Did that resonate with you about kind of the adoption and engagement piece?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, they're so intrinsically linked, right? I mean, once you've got good adoption or great adoption, you can really start looking at a lot of things you were talking about there, Jack, with efficiencies and, the different features that you want to use and how they're being engaged with. And I hope that's when maybe that inspiration piece kind of clicks as well. Once people kind of build that first guide and see how people interact with it, do you see then them evolve and want to do more? Does that kind of trigger something in them to want to say, okay, actually, I really like see how easy this is to use, and I just want to keep going and trying new things?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll even see that right at the start, actually. We'll see sort of in our demo guide, we might have some suggested features that people might not have thought about. And then they see something and think, oh, I could use that for company trip, or I could use that for a C-level meeting for less people. They come on to talk to us about a big conference, and then they might get inspiration to think about smaller events or other things that they run. And absolutely, after their first event, we want to work with them as app consultants, and usually people have other use cases that they can use, and we usually hear about questions on how we can use it elsewhere.
I just want to dig in.
Amazing.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
for it.
Gulnaar.
No.
I just was also curious because I've seen the demo guide and it's really good. And I think it's a great representation of the product. And forgetting a schedule or, your sponsors, which, people kind of have in mind when they're probably starting to research mobile apps. Is there something in the demo guide when you're showing it to potential customers where they go, oh, that's really exciting, or, oh, I can't believe it can do that? Like, is there something that jumps out for you that is always kind of gets people kind of thinking and getting excited?
Yeah, recently there's been a huge focus on networking and creating engagement and a community feel between chat, social features, and leaderboard, our leaderboard feature with the gamification, because that's just a nice sort of organic way to get people talking in person, talking through the app, engaging with sponsors. So that's been a really big thing recently. And you can talk about a leaderboard, but when you show it, it really shows how fun it can be to use and how visual it is. And what we're looking to do is create a bit of competitive fun at events and get people talking, get people engaging with things rather than just going to a session and having some food.
Yeah.
Well, the food is a great incentive.
Absolutely.
We can't discount that.
Always a very popular feature is what's for lunch. People always want to click on that first.
Awesome. Well, sorry for talking over you, Nathan. I had the same follow-up question. Anything else that you want to kind of pick Jack's brain about?
I mean, yeah, there's loads I want to pick Jack's brain about, but for the sake of today's call, I think yeah, I'm good.
I
Awesome.
can definitely come
Well,
back in 2025, guys. It's fine. I'll clear the schedule.
we'll
You're
definitely
welcome
have you
back.
on again. I appreciate you taking the time to help us kind of like deepen our understanding of what motivates people and like what they're looking for out of a technology solution, not only to solve problems in terms of event logistics and event management, but also creating an incredible event experience for their attendees, right? I think that's something kind of uniquely challenging about our business that you feel you're at the forefront of this in your role particularly, but our clients are the event organizers, but we're also in partnership with them trying to serve their audiences at the same time, right? We have this whole layer cake of goals that we're trying to navigate and work our way through. So I think it's really worth it for us to take the time to learn what event organizers and their audiences need, so we can help everyone invest that time in worthwhile ways. So thanks again for joining us, Jack. We will definitely have you back in the green room sometime soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to have you join us. And yeah, we're looking forward to a lot of new episodes coming out in 2025. So see everyone next week.